Rhythm on stage completes the lineup. They're in the gate. And they're off. Neon Lights and Baldoro. Simplexity not the smoothest of beginnings, but recovers quickly and moves right into contention. Hula Candy is fourth in the early going. Navy Man, who was off awkwardly, is fifth in traffic now, followed by Fireman Dan, and Rhythm on Stage is at the back. Moving into the first turn, and it's Simplexity and Neon Lights stride for stride. Baldoro in the yellow colors now shuffled back to fifth as Navy Man moves up to claim third. A four-wide Hula Candy is next with Baldoro just behind this leading group. Another length back to Rhythm on Stage, who's 4.5 or 5 off the lead under a tight hold, and Fireman Dan is down at the rail. Down the back stretch, and Neon Lights cruising along up top. Has it by a length and a half to Navy Man, Simplexity and Hula Candy outside. There's less than a half mile to travel now. Baldoro is next. Fireman Dan down at the rail, and then Rhythm on Stage. Around the far turn, Neon Lights the length still to Navy Man in second. 2 more to Hula Candy third. Simplexity at the rail. Baldoro now trying to move up in between horses. Outside of him, Rhythm on Stage. And at the rail, Fireman Dan. They pass the quarter pole, and Neon Lights the leader. Navy Man in second. Baldoro looking for room. Simplexity down at the rail. Fireman Dan far outside. Rhythm on Stage. It's a wide open scramble as Simplexity takes off now. And Simplexity has opened up a 2-length lead on Baldoro. Outside of them, Rhythm on Stage. Simplexity clearly best. Scores by 2 lengths. Second to Baldoro. Rhythm on Stage was third. Photo for fourth between Fireman Dan and Neon Lights. We're in the gate. And they're off. Very even start. Petite Ange is out quickly. So is Bolt on the Rocks coming through along the inside. And Bolt on the Rocks now battling for the lead with Carson Jen. Those two stride for stride and running super just outside of that pair. 3 lengths back to Fireman, and Petite Ange Brookwell is now at the back of the field. It's Ricky Gonzalez and Bolt on the Rocks going past the half-mile pole, leading a half length. Carson Jen in second. Then comes Running Super third, and then Fireman fourth, 3 lengths off the lead. Another 2 back to Petite Ange. Into the far turn, Running Super puts the pressure on and takes the lead from Bolt on the Rocks. And Running Super opens up a length and a half. Bolt on the Rocks losing ground. Fireman now moves into second as these two square off at the quarter pole. Running Super and Fireman head and head. 3 lengths back to Bolt on the Rocks in third there at the top of the stretch. And Running Super holding on to the lead, in fact widening, and it's Running Super by 2 with a furlong left to go. Fireman trying hard to once again close that gap. Running Super, Fireman dominating. It's Running Super a length and a half, and Running Super is too strong. Running Super beats Fireman. Long way back, Bolt on the Rocks was third. We're in the gate. And they're off. Omnipotent is up to take the early lead alongside Baltic Fire, who has plenty of early natural foot. And down at the rail, it's Son of Hill, a close-up third. Moment's Pleasure is fourth, 3 lengths off the pace. Lady Claypool broke well, but sits back where she likes it. And Sakura Blossom is at the back. They're covered by 4. Baltic Fire, Omnipotent, up alongside second. Son of Hill tucked in a great spot third, and Moment's Pleasure is racing in fourth. She's 3 lengths off the lead. At the rail, Lady Claypool and Sakura Blossom. 3 pairs of 2. They move on to the backstretch, and it is Baltic Fire, just a neck in front. Omnipotent up alongside second. Then Son of Hill under a nice hold on the inside, and Moment's Pleasure is just outside of her fourth. 3 lengths off the lead. Sakura Blossom and Lady Claypool. Continuing into the far turn, and Baltic Fire has been there every step of the way, shaded by Omnipotent in second. There's an early move from Sakura Blossom, and Sakura Blossom pounces on the top pair, testing Baltic Fire coming toward the quarter pole, and Omnipotent in between those two. They are followed by Moment's Pleasure and Son of Hill, who are still together, and Lady Claypool trails there at the top of the stretch. Baltic Fire trying to fend them all off. Out in the center of the course, Moment's Pleasure is closing, and Lady Claypool widest of all with a solid hand ride bid to the front. And it's Lady Claypool from last to first with a repeat W, scoring by 2. Sakura Blossom second, Son of Hill was third. Gray Frost. In the gate, and they're off. In the center of the course, Acclaimed Preacher is going out for the lead. Sunglasses is up close too, and Gray Frost is just outside of them. Down at the rail comes After My Own Heart in the red colors, fourth, but just 2 or so off the lead. Not the smoothest of beginnings for Run for My Honey, who has 4.5 to make up. The 2 trailers are Crypto Crush and In Without Knockin' at the back of the field, already a dozen off the pace. Onto the backstretch, and it's Acclaimed Preacher just in front, pressed by Gray Frost in second. Behind them, Sunglasses is very keen in third, and they're joined by Run for My Honey 3 deep, and down at the rail, After My Own Heart. A gap of 7 lengths back to Crypto Crush, and 2 more to In Without Knockin'. There's a half mile left to go, and Gray Frost now sprints clear. Gray Frost opens up 3. Sunglasses called on, trying to close the gap in second. Run for My Honey now a clear-cut third. Acclaimed Preacher losing ground fourth. After My Own Heart is next. Then Crypto Crush and In Without Knockin' starts to pick it up a touch. In the meantime, Gray Frost is well clear. It's a half dozen lengths at the top of the stretch. Run for My Honey is in second. Sunglasses not doing enough. On the outside, After My Own Heart, they come to the 8th pole, and Gray Frost with a 10-length lead. Run for My Honey, After My Own Heart, and Crypto Crush. A 16th to go, and Gray Frost absolutely obliterated the competition. Gray Frost wins by more than 10 lengths. Run for My Honey second best, After My Own Heart, and Crypto Crush. We're in the gate. And they're off. Sir Rocket was out very alertly. What's the Buzz has speed. Miss Joe's Curlin splits that pair and up to take the lead. Eagles Dare comes away in fourth, racing 3 in front of Anon. Charlie Pride, who once again did not have a good beginning, is now in mid-pack, some 6 lengths off the tempo, with Just a Graze on the outside. Anon now behind that pair. Then Roxy's Bad Boy. Kanani is well off the pace, and the trailer is Bolt Zapper. Rounding the far turn, Miss Joe's Curlin just in front. Pressed by What's the Buzz in second. It's another 4 lengths back to Sir Rocket, trying to gather some momentum in third. Eagles Dare is in fourth. Then comes Just a Graze, racing in fifth. Charlie Pride, 8 lengths off the lead. A length back to Anon inside of Roxy's Bad Boy. As the field reaches the top of the stretch, Miss Joe's Curlin. Here's Sir Rocket, who's had a good trip and is coming with a menacing presence at the 8th pole. and Sir Rocket blows on by. Opens up 2. Anand is finishing with nice strides, trying to get to Sir Rocket late. Sir Rocket, Anand making it close. Sir Rocket got there. Anand Giant in defeat. Then Miss Joe's Curlin and Kanani erupted late and just missed the show, though, finished full of energy. In the gate. And they're off. True Mantra with a beautiful beginning goes straight to the front. Far overloaded, matching strides in the early stages. They're followed by Cousin Theo, who takes the 3rd position. Rachel's Gig on the outside, Shake the Dust. Down at the rail, Teddy Pantages is rushing all the way up and coming after that front runner. Teddy Pantages, if he has a spot, will sneak through inside of Far Overloaded as they move into the far turn. Doesn't have quite enough room to do so. Hoser Satrapa is 5 lengths off the lead, and it is a distance, long way to Mr. Hussar. Far Overloaded, True Mantra right up alongside in second. Those two arrive at the quarter pole together with Cousin Theo 2 back in third. At the rail, Teddy Pantages 4th. Another 3 back to Hoser Satrapa and Shake the Dust. 3/16 of a mile to go. True Mantra on the outside rests a narrow lead. Far Overloaded still fights on gamely. 4 lengths clear of Cousin Theo, Teddy Pantages, and Hoser Satrapa, but it will be True Mantra and Frank Alvarado pulling clear in the end to score by 4. Far Overloaded second, Photo for third, Hoser Satrapa, and an oncoming Shake the Dust. Go. Pour more. Enjoy responsibly. And they're off in the sweet life. And Acquitted bounced out smartly. And here comes Kasalu. And Kasalu will take the initiative and say, catch me to win. Acquitted coming right after her once again. Those two are now 1-2. With Practical Dream not far behind, now taking the second spot. Shield Fleet is next. As Catch Can, only 3 lengths off the lead. Followed by C'est La Vie Charlie. On the inside, How About Pavel is next. The 2 trailers, Tequila and Therapy, and Hey Lil Lady is at the back of the field. Practical Dream is the leader, has it by 3/4 of a length. Kasalu will track in second. Shield Fleet is the gray on the inside of Acquitted, and As Catch Can is in between those two. Tequila and Therapy is looking for a spot, moving up in the orange colors. Far outside, C'est La Vie Charlie. Then How About Pavel and Hey Lil Lady there at the top of the stretch, and Kasalu pounces and puts away Practical Dream. Shield Fleet is trying to rally now, deciding which way to go, and on the outside, As Catch Can running a good race, but it's Kasalu still strong at the 16th pole, has a 2-length lead on As Catch Can. Kasalu and Flavian Pratt dominant in the sweet life. Good effort from As Catch Can. Tequila and Therapy got going late to be in a show photo with Shield Fleet. In. They're in the gate. And they're off. Very awkward start for Big Don Smiling. Major Tom was out alertly. Bertacci, here's Cardinal Trick sprinting through on the inside. So it's Cardinal Trick and Bertacci dueling through the opening stages. No Doro and Major Tom are 3rd and 4th. They're followed by Mr. Fighter, who's asked for a bit more. Then Love Candy and Big Don Smiling is at the back of the field. Cardinal Trick passes the half-mile pole ahead in front. Bertacci 2nd, Perfect Trip for No Doro 3rd, and Major Tom inches up outside of him. These 4 separated by only 2 lengths now. A gap of 4 to Mr. Fighter. Love Candy is next, and Big Don's Smiling. They have a quarter of a mile to go, and No Doro puts his head in front, tackled by Major Tom. These two square off. Major Tom on the outside, and No Doro leaving Bertacci behind. They're at the top of the stretch, and Major Tom is asked to go, and he quickly puts away No Doro and opens up a 4-length lead. On the inside, Mr. Fighter and Love Candy, but Major Tom is far too good, and Major Tom will cruise to victory under Kevin Orozco, wrapped up in the end to score by a half dozen. No Doro holds second, Mr. Fighter third, and then Love Candy. We're in the gate. And they're off. Terry's Boy, very alert out of the gate. So is So I'm Told. These two go away with Ottoman Prince 3 off the pace in third. Fantastic is smooth on the rail in fourth, followed by Hurricane Cloud, who's tugging a touch, racing 2 in front of Yakolev. Fowler Blue is second to last, just passed by Liberal. Into the first turn, and Terry's Boy will set the tempo, leads it about a length. In second is So I'm Told, and down at the rail comes Fantastic, Ottoman Prince in fourth. Hurricane Cloud is fifth at this point, 6 lengths off the lead. At the rail, Liberal, Yakolev is second to last, and it's another 3 back to Fowler Blue. They swing on to the backstretch behind Terry's Boy. Terry's Boy taking a strong hold of and leads a half length to So I'm Told. At the rail, Fantastic inches up willingly with Ottoman Prince covering him past the half-mile pole. Another 2, Hurricane Cloud is by himself. Liberal, Yakolev still second to last, 8 off the lead, and Fowler Blue has been at the back throughout. Terry's Boy leads at a length on the far turn, So I'm Told. At the rail, Fantastic, Ottoman Prince. Now Hurricane Cloud tries to get underway. He's 3 wide, 3 lengths off the lead. Another 2 back to Liberal on the inside of Yakolev, top of the stretch. And Terry's Boy's in front, looking for room. Fantastic. Outside of him, So I'm Told is in third. They're inside the 8th pole. Terry's Boy, Fantastic tries to get him late. Terry's Boy a length and a half to Fantastic, who's trying so hard. Terry's Boy, Fantastic. Here's Yakolev out of nowhere. Terry's Boy nursed along to perfection, giving Flavian Pratt a triple on the afternoon. Fantastic and an absolutely flying Yakolev finished third. 4:35.15. $5 double pays 62.
Hi, everybody, and a happy Friday, and more importantly, a happy Valentine's Day. Delighted that you decided to spend all or part of your day with us. We've got 38 races over the next 4-day holiday weekend of racing. That's right. We race today, tomorrow, Sunday, and holiday Monday. 8 races today, 10 races Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. Valentine's Day is expensive. We got to pay for it. We've got the perfect guest to help us pay for it and hopefully catch some winners today. His name, George Ortuzar. George, happy Valentine's Day. Welcome to the seminar.
Happy Valentine's Day. It's a pleasure to be here on a beautiful Valentine's Day, and I'm glad we're racing, and I'm glad we're going to have a great weekend.
We are racing, and I'm glad you brought that up. We wouldn't be here if we weren't, but of course today there were no turf races scheduled. The storm has cleared, thankfully. Yes. The main track, as you can see on the screen, is listed as good. Minimal amount of changes, so certainly the card has stayed intact. You're a Latin lover, George. You've sired a lot of kids. What's the secret to Valentine's Day? What do you got planned for tonight? You got roses, chocolate, dinner, all of the above?
Well, we bought tickets to go see a show Sunday because,
it's tough on a racing day, right?
It's tough on a racing day. Plus, Friday, like as you get older, it's the worst day to go out on Valentine's Day. When we were in my 20s, it was like Valentine's Day. Now it's like, I ain't going out on Valentine's Day. So, but we're going to go out Sunday. We're going to see Bernadette Peters.
Beautiful.
She's one of my favorites. She's a great singer. And Valentine's Day, if you make your happy wife, happy life. So just make sure.
And it should be every day, let's face it, right? It shouldn't just be today. That's the key. Don't just make your significant partner happy today. Make him or her happy all 365 days of the year.
I concur. It's beautiful. But, it's Valentine's Day because as I'm driving here, 87 people selling flowers so everybody's selling flowers and they're going to sell a lot of them.
It's a unique day, that's for sure, here in Southern California. You talked about Fridays and the traffic. Today is bad anyway on a Fridays. Valentine's Day night traffic in anywhere in the Southland area could be tough. But enough of that personal stuff. Let's talk about what's happening this weekend, George, because we've got a lot going on the track, both some things you can celebrate on track, but also some things you can celebrate off track. Let's talk about one of those things that you can celebrate both on track and off track. And that would be the graphic that you're looking at on the board right now, a $500 low entry fee to buy into a one-day tournament that you can play both here on track, but also nationwide at ExpressBet. As you can see on the graphic, you put up $500, $300 is your live bankroll, yours to keep. $200 entry fee goes to the prize money. And maybe more importantly, George, you can win either Ultimate Betting Challenge seats or National Handicapping Challenge seats. The National Handicapping Championship is next month, mid-March, March 14th, specifically on a Friday, when it starts at Horseshoe Hotel and Casino in Las Vegas, Nevada. You've been there before, George. It's a lot of fun to play in the NHC.
The atmosphere is unparalleled. If you're a horse player, to be able to go to the NHC is just phenomenal. I would recommend it. I've been there helping promote the track that I was working for, or the contests we have. Never actually won a seat into it, but the excitement is unparalleled. And those, for such a low buy-in, $500.
That's what I'm saying.
And you can get that or UBC. So really, I'll be signing people up tomorrow. So come see me tomorrow. It's really a fun tournament. I mean, if you're going to play the races anyway, might as well have someone to keep track and see if you can win some prizes.
We've got an excellent 10-race card, and as I mentioned, you can play both on track here at St. Anita or anywhere around the country at expressbet.com. Now, that's the handicapping side of it, but let's face it, when you come to the track and you're here for 10 races, you might get a little hungry. So we've got the perfect solution. Tomorrow is dumpling day here at St. Anita. Now, if you're off track, we can't help you, but if you're on track, this is really a fun day, too, because, let's face it, there's not much difference between dumplings and wontons, but no matter what you call them, they're all delicious. And we've got a variety of vendors coming out to spend the day with our patrons here on track.
Yes, Smorgasburg dumpling day. So get your chopsticks ready because really, they're really very tasty. And it's such a wide selection. So you can really taste the difference. There's a big difference between them, but they're all wonderful. And it's a great way to spend the day watching the races live and having some dumplings.
And it's economical. And as George mentioned, you can buy all those dumplings right on the apron and watch the races as they go by every 30 minutes or so. Fun day, both on track and off track. Now, Sunday, real quickly, George, we've got a minute before we toss it to Frank Miramati. That's one of your highlights of the meet. Sunday is Corgi Day. And so Corgi Day, I got to ask you, because it obviously brings out a lot of enthusiasm. How many Corgis actually race here on track? We see the finals on the main track, right, but the preliminaries, if you had to guess, how many Corgis are actually going to show up to San Anita on Sunday?
Through the course of the day, we have over 100 Corgis.
I was going to take the over on that. I thought it was probably more than that.
Yeah, so it's a lot of fun. The enthusiasm is crazy. It's wildly popular.
You're kind of the MC of that?
Yeah, and I set the line. If for the finals.
Make sure you bring it up to Eddie Logan first. We want action up in Eddie Logan.
Okay.
Corgi, by the way, is there a ringer? Is there a name of a dog that we should know that's won it the last 5 years or anything like that?
I mean, last year it was a brand new dog who had never raced before who won. So we'll see what happens.
Well, come one and come all. Corgi Day on Sunday, and then, of course, tomorrow the NHC tournament as well as Dumpling Day. We're going to take a quick break, as I mentioned. Toss it over to track announcer Frank Miramati. Find out what those minimal amount of changes are. When we return, we're going to find out who the Thorograph guru, George Ortuzar, likes on today's 8-race card. Thanks so much for joining us, everybody. We'll be back just in a minute.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Santa Anita Park, the great race place. The track starts out as good, and there was no turf racing scheduled today. Here are the early changes. No changes in the opener, start of the early pick 5. Second race starts the early pick 4, no changes. The third will begin the pick 6. It's an 8-race card today. Scratch 3 just is. Scratch 7, Open Soul, Autism. 3 and 7 out of the third, first leg of the pick 6. Late pick 5 starts with the 4th. A couple of blinker notes in there. In the 5th, we start the late pick 4. Scratch 6, I Light. Race 6, first leg of the late pick 3, no changes. Late double starts with the 7th event, no changes. And in the 8th, number 5, Miss McKinsey did race with blinkers last time and will again today, and therefore no equipment change for number 5. Super high 5 wagering offered on the 8th, 4-day week here. We do race on Monday. And the coast-to-coast pick 5 is now offered Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays. Low 15% takeout, $1 minimum wager. The Valentine's Day coast-to-coast pick 5 starts with Gulfstream 7th at 12:44 Pacific. Enjoy your afternoon. Post time for the opener in 58 minutes. Let's go back to Quigley's Corner. His special guest today, George Ortuzar.
Welcome back. We're talking horse with George Ortuzar. He wears a lot of hats here at Sandy. He's kind of in charge of a lot of the on-track promotions. He's also the Hispanic ambassador. He also does a daily handicap that you can find in the program as well as online, absolutely free of charge. And George, before we went to the break, I mentioned how you use Thorographs as kind of the basis for your handicapping. Why do you like Thorographs so much, and what edge do you think it gives to you as a handicapper?
I certainly think it gives you an edge. I'd be lost without it. They're like the main part of my handicapping is the Thorograph numbers, and then of course trip handicap and so forth. But as opposed to, I think I mentioned before, the buyer numbers. If you get a dead heat between two horses, they get the same exact buyer number. It doesn't take into account if one of them lost a lot of ground and had to travel actually faster, extra distance. So this takes into account that and many other factors as well. So. I love the Thorograph numbers. I also love the fact that not a lot of people have them.
Correct.
So it feels like you have an edge over them. But I certainly recommend getting them if you can. They're really a worthwhile tool to have in your handicapping box.
And San Anita offers a lot of free handicapping tools as well. You mentioned the buyer speed figures, which are published in the Daily Racing Form. From a coast-to-coast pick 5 standpoint, every day on our website, you can just download automatically the DR past performances for those 5 races. And I know when we had a pick 6 carryover a week or two ago, Daily Racing Form was grateful enough to give us the PPs free of charge again for our patrons to handicap the pick 6. I mean, that's really all you need is maybe sprinkle in a little bit of Thorograph and you're good to go.
Yes, you are. It's really, and we've had some great programs. I think the influx of, horses coming from up north,
no doubt about it,
and some of the great trainers. I think Sunday, my tocayo Jorge Maravilla, which means marvelous, won his first race. So It's good to see these trainers coming in and bringing new life to the colony. It's really cool.
And Jonathan Thomas has shifted a string from South Florida. He's a rock star in terms of his win percentage. Good to have him here on track, and hopefully many more to follow. George, before we take a look at today's card, just a couple of additional promotion notes that I know you wanted to talk about. First of all, I mentioned we race on Monday. Monday's Dollar Day. What's better than $1 for either a beer or a soda or $2 for a hot dog? You can see right there all day long on track. Look how beautiful that setting is. Not just the beers, but the San Gabriel Mountains and the big screen TV in the infield. I mean, we somewhat take it for granted, although we really don't, that we work here every day. You kind of get used to it. But I mean, walking into the facility, it's just a marvelous, marvelous place to race at.
We're spoiled. You know, they say if you love what you're doing, you never work a day in your life. And I am just, I'm loving it. I partake in that. You know, I get those $2
day?
Those $1 day hot dogs.
No beers, just the sodas.
I can't have a beer.
Right. Sodas and.
But it's really, it's a great promotion. The fans love it. And Monday's card is pretty good. 10 races.
It is.
Not bad at all.
And you're wearing the colors of a promotion that we're going to have on Big Cap Day, which is Saturday, March 1st. We're actually giving away in conjunction with our promotional partners, Yamava Resort and Casino, a nice San Anita Big Cap type of baseball cap.
It really is nice. I mean, I don't know if you guys can appreciate it on the TV, but it feels great. It's really nice. And if you
it's
come
durable,
to the track,
right? It looks durable.
Durable. It's durable. It's very durable. So come on. And Big Cap Day, of course, we got the Big Cap. We got that. We got Fiesta Santa Anita in the infield with, mariachi and food and lucha libre, which I love. That wrestling, boy, it's all part of the program for that whole weekend. It's really a great weekend to come out as well.
As we've been outlining, we have a big holiday weekend this weekend, but typically the first Saturday of every month is our big weekend. Thinking back to February earlier this month, it was the Robert B. Lewis Day. Mm-hmm. The first Saturday in March is going to be Big Cap Day. The first Saturday in April is going to be San Anita Derby Day. The first Saturday in May is going to be the Kentucky Derby. That's really when it seems like the excitement level gets really ratcheted up, is that first Saturday every month.
Yeah, the first Saturday in March also is first tour.
Yes,
so they
correct.
Have a great.
We have the Ultimate Betting Challenge tournament.
Ultimate Betting Challenge tournament. I mean, it's just what a weekend that weekend is going to be. I can't wait. And as a player, as you are as well, I am sure that the card is going to be spectacular.
Well, we can't wait to have you tell us who you like on today's 8-race card. So let's dive into it, George. Kicking things off in race number 1, as I mentioned earlier, all races are on the main track today. Race number 1 is 6.5 furlongs for maiden optional claiming 3-year-olds. We've got a field of 5. Number 1, Toughness, is the 4-5 morning line favorite. Currently even money on the tote board with 53 minutes to post. Before we get your thoughts on the race, George, I wanted to show a workout for Toughness. This would have been a team drill on February 9th, just a few days ago. And one of the reasons why I wanted to show this workout, besides watching Toughness, who's down on the inside, is take a look at who his workmate is. His workmate is Mellencamp. We're going to see in race number 6 later today, Mellencamp go 2 turns. So we can kind of get 2 for the price of 1 here. I think the better workmate, as we continue to watch this work as they round the top of the turn, is going to be Toughness. Toughness is really never asked. You can see on the outside, Mellencamp will continue to be asked. He kind of looms up and maybe puts a nose in front. But again, as I always like to say when we watch these workouts, courtesy of our friends at First TV, take note and look at how the exercise arms and fingers and things like that are moving. You can see the rider on the inside is certainly chilly on Toughness. The rider on the outside, Mellencamp, asking his mount for just a little bit more. But I think it's a really good work. Toughness, of course, in my opinion, deserves to be favored going turf to dirt for trainer Bob Baffert. I know that you respect Toughness in race number 1, George, but you actually like another runner a little bit more to kick off the card.
Yeah, I think we have a couple of themes through the course of the day. Is runners who previously ran on turf are today running on dirt. Also, we have a lot of races where it looks like J.J. Hernandez against Pratt. So
that's always a good showdown, isn't it?
That's a great showdown, man. And they're only 1 race apart for the leaderboard. So, look, either one of them can win. Toughness or my top pick, Water Remember. Water Remember was running over there in Canada for Mark Casse, top trainer over there, Mark Casse, and sprinting on the synthetic and doing really, really well. The third graph number, he ran a 12 and Toughness ran an 11. So the lower the number, the better. So Toughness a little bit better, but War to Remember comes off a grass race here, which is not his thing, showed really good speed. I think the cutback in distance, first time dirt, you got Pratt aboard. First time Pratt has been a tremendously successful and profitable angle. So I like that one. And certainly you're getting a little bit better price anyway than Toughness, but Toughness can certainly win as well. Also, coming off a turf race, back to dirt, where I think he's going to run better, show good speed on debut. And as you said, that workout was nice. So those two, to me, the only two I'm using in the early pick 5.
A couple additional comments on George's top pick, number 5, Warner. Remember, first-time Lasix, or I should say, re-adding Lasix. Didn't use Lasix last time in the Southern California debut. Also, you note the trainer is Ruben Alvarado. Trainer Peter Miller on a 15-day suspension. Ruben Alvarado, his main assistant. And you'll see a number of runners now over the next few weeks saddled by Ruben Alvarado, which is essentially from the Peter Miller barn. Race number 2 begins the 50-cent early pick 4. 1 mile is the starter allowance race. This time, the conditions for the starter allowances for horses that have started for a claiming price of $16,000 or less, either last year or so far this year. We've got a field of 5. Number 1, Clampett from the Mark Glatt barn is the heavy 2-5 morning lane favorite. Talk to us about race 2, George.
Well, here's a little story about a man named Pratt or jockey.
Are enough people old enough to know what the hell you're talking about? No. You know, half the audience doesn't remember what the hell you're talking about.
That's the first thing that comes to mind when I saw Clampett.
For us old-timers.
Us old-timers, it's not even close. So Clampett, speaking of not even close, on Thoroughgraph numbers, it's way a huge differential between any of Clampett's races and any race that anybody else has run. It just seems like an absolute slam dunk, single in the pick 4, in the pick 5, anything. It's not going to be much of a price, even on the program. It's 2-5, but he just looks like a complete standout in race number 2. I guess somebody's got to come in second. Layla's Candy every now and then gets brave on the front end and throws in some decent numbers that some of the others have never even come close to running. So maybe ice cold exacta 1-5, but Clampett looks like Texas tea, black gold.
Speaking of ice cold, belated happy birthday to Dave Weaver, who that famous phrase is named after. It was birthday earlier this week. Happy birthday, Dave. And you mentioned Clampett, reclaimed by trainer Mark Glatt. That time that Mark Glatt, back in August of last year at Del Mar, put this horse in for $16,000 is essentially what made this horse eligible for the starter allowance race. Purse is close to $30,000, $18,000 almost to the winner. Certainly Clampett, as you mentioned, George, certainly looks well spotted. Race number 3 on today's 8-race card begins the $2 pick 6. We're going 6 furlongs for fillies and mares. It's a starter optional claiming race. 2 scratches. Scratch the 3 and the 7 leaves us with a field of 5. Champagne Cammy, who's 2 for 2 on the main track, is the 8-5 morning lane favorite. Is it as easy as that, or you're looking elsewhere, George?
Certainly using him in my pick 5, but I'm looking elsewhere. I mean, I think certainly that one could win, but Tiger Queen interests me a lot. Very, very speedy. I love this trainer, Isidro Tamayo. I follow him when he was, running up north. He's a wonderful trainer. I mean, he knows how to get them in the winner's circle. He spots them right. This is, one of the easiest spots he's been in since, summer of last year. And when he was in for 16 that day, he crushed. So speed is dangerous at any track USA, but especially, it seems to me, here in SoCal. And this one is very speedy. It's certainly going to get the jump on Champagne Cammy and might get brave and just keep right on going. So he's going to be my top pick. I think Ace Baby at 12-1 just ran the best Thoroughgraph number of his life. And that was against, seemingly tougher competition. So he's been running against the last 2 races have been really some tough hard knockers like Velocious, who's going to be running as well this weekend. So Ace Baby, I give him an upset chance as well. So certainly going to use the 1, but I think I'm going to look for a price with the 4 and the 6 in race number 3.
George, you mentioned during your analysis that speed does well at every track USA. Well, it especially does well here at St. Anita sprinting 6 furlongs, which historically should not come as a surprise. But as of last Friday, a week ago today, Brad Free in the Daily Racing Form in his commentary talked about how 54% of the runners that go to the front so far this meet in 6 furlong main track dashes actually wind up winning the race. So early speed is certainly dangerous all the time here in Southern California, but especially so sprinting 6 furlongs in the main track this meet at the Great Race Place. Race number 4 begins the 50-cent late pick 5. We're going 2 turns, 1 mile in the main track for maiden special weight 3-year-old fillies. Field of 6. There looks to be a lot of quality in this field. Number 3, Madame Secretary, one of 2 trained in here by Richard Mandela, is the 4-5 morning lane favorite. A number of these adding Lasix for the first time as well. Give us your thoughts on race 4, George.
I'm only going to use my top 2 picks, and certainly Madam Secretary can win this race easily. Comes in with with some strong Thoroughgraph number of 13, but so did Behaving, ran a 13. And here we go again with those angles. We got Pratt against JJ Hernandez. So that's going to be fun all day. Behaving, another one that is has just run on the turf and now gets back on the dirt where. I think Behaving is going to love it. Gets first-time laces like as most of these are getting, but I think Behaving at the price is going to be my top pick. And Madam Secretary can certainly win this, but it's no slam dunk. and it certainly could be 4-5, 3-5. But I think Behaving has a big shot, especially with Pratt aboard. He keeps the faith, and so do I. And he's going to be my top pick over Madam Secretary.
Madame Secretary, Georgia's second selection in race number 4, actually has a half to Nickname. Those of us who have been around the races for a long time remember Nickname, also trained by Richard Mandela, so he knows this family well. And speaking of Richard Mandela, the other filly he trains on the inside of Madame Secretary, number 2, Wren, is a half to Improbable. You'll recall Improbable, very talented runner from the Bob Baffert barn who earned, I should say, $2.7 million during his 15-race career. The talent, or the pedigree, is certainly there for Wren. We'll see if the talent is going to show today. Race number 5 begins the 50-cent late pick 4. It's for fillies and mares, non-winners of 2 races lifetime, with an asterisk for a $20,000 claiming tag. The reason why I say it's an asterisk for non-winners of 2 races lifetime is you'll notice in the conditions for the race, in the conditions for the race, I should say, that those races for maiden claiming and starter races for $16,000 or less are not considered in the eligibility. So as you look through the PPs for race number 5, you'll see a number of runners who have won more than 2 races in their lifetime. Those races are for less than that $16,000 threshold, which is why they're still eligible for this race. We've got one scratch. The 6 leaves us with a field of 7, George. Number 5, Velocious, is the 2-1 morning line favorite. Before we get your thoughts on the race, I want to show a workout for Velocious. This was a team drill back on January 25th. It was obviously early in the morning, and you'll notice that the workmate is Where's My Ring. Where's My Ring is a very talented filly. That's going to be Where's My Ring on the outside. Correct? I'm checking my notes here. Velocious is on the outside. Velocious is on the outside. Where's My Ring is on the inside. Where's My Ring is from the Val Brinkerhoff barn. She just ran this past weekend. You'll remember she broke her maiden in the Grade 3 Gazelle at Aqueduct last year. So she's got a lot of class. She's got a lot of ability. Velocious is in for the optional claiming tag today of $20,000. And you can see she more than holds her own with Where's My Ring, which is why I wanted to show this workout. Another reason why I wanted to show the workout for the morning line favorite is trainer Mr. Hargi does very well going turf to dirt and also route to sprint, which is exactly what Velocious is doing today. Just like race 1, George, I know that you respect Velocious, but you're going to put her second and you like somebody else on top first. In race 5. No, you like Velocious?
I like Velocious on top.
Okay, good.
Race 5, I like Velocious. And again, another one with that theme coming from a turf to a dirt. And I think that Velocious is much better sprinting on the dirt. And I think Velocious, another thing I always look for too, especially like if Ace Baby runs well in the 3rd,
then you would upgrade.
I would upgrade Velocious chances even more, because Velocious, finished in front of Ace Baby. So to me,
even if Ace Baby just runs well,
yeah. So
competitive.
Velocious, as her name suggests, is very speedy, and we talked about how speed does well. Got to try to get to not get in a speed duel with Union Coach. They certainly can come in 1-2, but they certainly can get in each other's way as well. So we'll have to see how that plays out. But we've got 2 speedy customers that run strong, and I'm going to use them and some others. It's a relatively tough race. Bourbon Glaze got a chance. Honorable Gal. It's not a slam dunk. Even Ready to Gig has run some good thoroughgraph numbers, but Velocious is fast. Comes back to dirt, comes back to sprinting. OJ Harrigy, another really strong trainer. So good to see them here in SoCal. Wishing them well. I spoke in race 4 how we might see some talented 3-year-old fillies. Well, likewise, that comment applies in race number 6. However, this is for 3-year-old colts and geldings. Race 6 also begins the $3 late pick 3 with a 15% takeout. We've got a field of 6. Number 6, Westwood, is a first-time gelding. Bob Baffert trains 2 in here, including number 3, Varney, who is 7-2 on the morning line. But number 1, Rank from the Doug O'Neill barn, who's been knocking heads with a lot of tough customers, is Jeff Siegel's 2-1 morning line favorite. There could be some quality in this race down the line, George. I'm interested to see who runs well in this race. Who do you like and why? Well, before I get to who I like, and I didn't pick him in my top 2, I just want to mention number 5, Baeza. How about the breeding? The breeding is just great, and they paid $1.2 million for this one. But when I was a kid, I remember going to OTB as a teenager in New York City, and I didn't know much about horses, but I would bet on Baeza a lot. Braulio, right? Braulio Baeza. So he was one of those names that was like, that guy wins a lot of races. And I was like 13. I was like, that guy knows how to ride. They finally named a horse in his honor. It only took 40 years. But certainly this one just has the best thoroughgraph number of anyone. He ran a 6 last time out, which is much better than my top pick, better than Rank has ever run. So Baeza can certainly win this, and nobody's riding like Hector Barrios. It's just a wonderful rider. You got to give it to him.
He's a treat to watch, isn't he?
Especially on the turf for whatever reason. I hate to typecast, but on the turf he's wonderful, especially coming from behind. But anyway, Baeza can win, no question about it. Rank is 2-1. Got some strong numbers in the Los Al Futurity. Ran an 8. That was a really strong number. But I got a feeling that Varney is going to be, who's my top pick, is going to love going a mile. I just think a mile that was a perfect setup. Gets, JJ Hernandez aboard. And you respect this gentleman as well as I do, is Andy Harrington.
Absolutely.
Who I love getting his workout report. Gave Varney a B+, which nobody else on the card today got a B+. So that is a sterling endorsement, I think, for Varney. I think he's going to love 2 turns. He's going to be out there early, and I think he's going to be tough to beat. He's 7-2. He's not even the top 2 choice. So I like Varney and then Rank in second.
Race number 7 begins the $5 late daily double with also a reduced 15% takeout. We're going 1 mile, allowance optional, claiming Calbred types, non-winners of one other than. A good field of 8. Number 5, Clouseau, is the 5-2 Maury line favorite. Before we get your thoughts on the race, George, a number of these runners exit a race which was run back on January 16th. It was the 9th race. As a matter of fact, 5 of the 8 runners exit this replay we're about to watch. Some of the runners that are in this race include Pass the Baton, Kerry Gold, Spiritual Advisor, Nauvoo, and Mining District. They all have interesting trips. The one I want you to watch is the runner breaking from post position number 3 in this replay. That would be Spiritual Advisor. So let's watch the replay back on January 16th. Listen to Frank Miramati describe the action and watch the runner breaking from post position number 3.
And they're off. Spiritual Advisor hopped in the air and had an awkward beginning. Mining District and Nauvoo are the first 2 out. Jay Dutton ensures a hot pace from the far outside, joining the fray as well. Just in behind them, Spiritual Advisor is now climbing on the leader's heels, and Pass the Baton is racing in between horses, 4 lengths off the lead. They're followed by Mio Bambino, Kerry Gold, and Speed Grazy is last. Around the first turn, it's Nauvoo on the outside and Mining District racing together as one. 2 lengths back to Jay Dutton in third, followed by Pass the Baton between horses. Spiritual Advisor has room down at the rail, claims third for himself. Then it's Kerry Gold, Mio Bambino, and Speed Grazy. 6 lengths covers the field. They have a half mile left to go. And it's Mining District at the rail. Spiritual Advisor joins him. Those 2 now go on with it. A half length back, Nauvoo is under pressure, losing ground third. Down at the rail comes Pass the Baton. Kerry Gold is outside of that pair. Speed Grazy in the blue is out of last, has 4 to make up as they come to the quarter pole. Spiritual Advisor, a big effort out of him after that rough beginning, leads 3/4 of a length. Here's Kerry Gold trying to cause an upset on the outside. In between those 2, Mining District, Pass the Baton down at the rail, and the favorite Speed Grazy is trying to get involved late. He's starting to roll now. They're in the final furlong. Speed Grazy widest of all. Spiritual Advisor, Mining District in between horses. Spiritual Advisor, Mining District, Speed Grazy lugging in while rallying sharply, and Kerry Gold driving finish. Here's the line. Photo finish. It might have been Speed Grazy, and if so.
George, that's a tough beat if he had Spiritual Advisor. Missed the break, but after that, the Bug Boy did nothing wrong, got tagged right on the wire. But there were 4 on the wire, which sometimes makes me skeptical of how strong that race might be. I know you respect Spiritual Advisor, but you actually like someone else in this race who towers over the field from a thoroughgraph standpoint.
Yeah, I like 5 Clouseau, and again,
are you going to do any imitations for those of us who?
The salmon goes up the street. Why does he do what he do?
Inspector Clouseau.
Inspector Clouseau. I used to love that show as a kid. Anyway.
If you never heard of it, check out YouTube and watch it.
Clouseau, he's run, like, again, the lower the number, the better. He's run a 6. He's run a 5. Nobody's has come close to running 6s and 5s. Nauvoo every now and then, but it's so inconsistent. We'll run a 5 and then run 20, some terrible numbers and stuff. But Clouseau is looking for the hat trick. Certainly can get the hat trick today with the Godfather Franco aboard. And Spiritual Advisor, after seeing that, I mean, sure, everybody was close at the wire, but it shouldn't have been close. If he breaks with the field, Spiritual Advisor would probably win that race by a length or so. It was a really good look back, and Spiritual Advisor is my second choice. Also has run some strong thoroughbred numbers, except for that last one, but had a big excuse. And I think he's going to run much better today. So 5 and 6 for me.
You mentioned Giovanni Franco, the jockey in number 5, Clouseau. He's a busy man. He was riding at Turf Paradise yesterday. Doesn't let any grass grow underneath his feet. He's right back here in Arcadia, California today. We close out today's 8-race card, offering $1 super high 5 wagering, spreading 6 furlongs for maiden special weight, Calbred 3-year-old fillies. A really good field of 10 here with a number of first-time starters. Number 2, Ride Gold, is the 7-5 Moy line favorite, second-time starter. This is a really good way to end all the multi-race wagers, George.
Yeah, this is a race where normally I would find a first-time starter that would catch my eye, but none of them did. None of them had any kind of standout workouts in the workout reports. None of them seemed like they're overwhelmingly good. None of them gotten tremendous prices at that auction or nothing. So I'm going to have to settle for the 2 that actually have 2 of them that have experience. One of them is Ride Gold, who's my top pick. JJ Hernandez was aboard first time out, drifted a little bit in upper stretch, had that, first time out, inexperienced jitters, but second time out, Craig Lewis with these clubhouse rides just does phenomenal work, gets that one race under them, and then they win a lot second time out for Craig Lewis. And this really, JJ Hernandez keeps the faith. Got a B. Speaking of workout reports, none of the first-time starters got a good report, but got a B on the Harrington report. So Ride Gold, I think, is going to ride. Hernandez is going to ride that one right into the winner's circle. Miss McKenzie also ran good on debut, gets first-time Lasix, and can certainly improve in that one second start as well. But Ride Gold is going to be a key for me. I'm probably going to single Ride Gold.
Some additional notes in race number 8, number 5, Miss McKenzie, who George mentioned is his second pick. Sired by McKenzie. You don't see many Calbreds sired by McKenzie, so congratulations to Terry Lovinger, the breeder and owner, securing the breeding rights to McKenzie. Also, number 7, My Sister Lily, is a half, but that could be a Valentine's play for you.
I got to play it right. I just thought of that, man.
Don't fall asleep. My Sister Lily is a half to Moose Mitchell, also trained by George Papadroma. You'll know Moose Mitchell very well from previous win efforts here in Southern California. Number 10, A Fleet Ride, another daughter of Clubhouse Ride, trained by Ryan Hansen, ridden by Frankie Dettori. As you can see in the Daily Racing Form, when Frankie Dettori and Ryan Hansen team up, they usually mean business. She's 15-1 on the Moy line. George, I know I don't need to introduce this wager to you, which Frank also mentioned during the scratches, and that would be the $1 Coast-to-Coast Pick 5. The payouts in that have been fantastic the last 2 weeks. Thousands and thousands of dollars. You got a bad beat story? I hear you laughing.
No.
Oh, okay.
I was laughing because it paid $70,000 the other day, and the guy hit it with like a $32 ticket.
Great.
It's just some spectacular handicapping by that guy. My hat's off to you.
Great job of handicapping. And today, if you want to get lucky on Valentine's Day, you have to play it starting with Gulfstream Park race number 7, which, as you can see, begins at 12:44 p.m. Pacific time. 3 races from Gulfstream Park, 2 races from Santa Anita, $1 minimum bet, low 15% takeout. That's the reason why it pays so well, George. George, whenever you're on the seminar, I know I'm going to be able to find a few winners. Thanks so much for your time and insight today. Enjoy Valentine's Day. Enjoy Bernadette Peters on Sunday. And enjoy the weekend. I know where to find you tomorrow. You'll either be at the sign-up booth for the NHC tournament or you'll be on the apron for Dumpling Day. Thanks so much for joining me, George.
Thank you.
Thanks so much for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed it. Next voice you hear will be track announcer Frank Miramati, updating us when any late changes. Have a great afternoon, everybody, and happy Valentine's Day.
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for our national anthem. Good afternoon and welcome to Santa Anita Park. The track is starting out as good with no turf racing scheduled. Conditions brought to you by John Deere. Here are the changes. Nothing new has transpired. No changes in the first, start of the early pick 5. No changes in race 2, beginning of the early pick 4. Pick 6 starts with the third today, $2 pick 6, scratch 3 just is. Note that 5 Rose of Jericho, 1 pound over. And scratch number 7, Open Soul Autism. Open Soul Autism, 3 and 7 are out of the third race. In the fourth race, the late pick 5 kicks off. Couple of blinker notes. In the fifth, beginning of the late pick 4, scratch number 6, Eyelight. In the sixth, late pick 3 wagering is offered.